here has been 16 years old, right? Most of us. Now, was there anything better when you're 16 than getting your first car? And I don't care if it's a piece of junk or a brand new SUV or a sports car, whatever, it doesn't matter. That first car represents freedom. You're free to go get into trouble. You're free to go to the store when you want. You gotta go get gas though. But you have that freedom. You are that much closer to being an adult. Now, in 1995, I was just about to turn 16, and I'm driving around with my dad, and we see this dark blue 1987 Toyota Supra turbo with a Targa top. Now, my dad had to drive this thing, so we stopped, talked to the owner, and we get to go test drive it. He had to get behind the wheel. He was riding, just driving, riding through the gears. He loved it. He was like a little kid again. So we had to get it. No, I had to buy it because my dad really wanted this car, and I did too. It was the perfect car for me. Now, I say that, but I say that with this disclosure. I know it's the absolute wrong car for me. No kid, 16, should have a sports car, turbo engine, removable roof. I'm saying it right now. There's too much temptation. But anyways, I had this car, so I go for my driving test. My mom goes with me, and I have my temp, so I'm driving there, and I get in the car for the test. This mountain of a man comes out with a clipboard, kicks the tires, looks at the lights, makes sure everything's good, sits down. We go for the driving test, and I'm just going through. I think I'm doing great, so I pull back into the test center. I get out, I'm all pep in my step, ready to go get my license, and he stops me with this clipboard and says, "Speeding, running a red light, following too close, 28%. Good luck next time." I'm crushed. This is disaster. I got a 28% on my driving test. So I have to go home, admit to my dad, yeah, I failed my driving test. I know my brother's gonna make fun of me, my friends are gonna make fun of me. Well, anyways, I went back the next week. I did pass my test, and I have improved my driving skills. I may still speed a touch, but nothing major. But anyways, I have the car. I have a license. Now what's the next logical step? I need to get a girlfriend to sit in the seat with me. But when you're 16, before you can get a girlfriend, you kind of need a pickup line. Okay, so I go to my parents. I'm 16, remember, but I want a tattoo. See, tattoos are cool. And so I go to my parents, I say, I want to get a tattoo of Cheech, my dog, and I want him on my belly, right here, so, nobody will see it when I'm, it's a rare spot, nobody will really see it. And they questioned me, but they said, if you really want this, okay, we'll go with you. So we go to the tattoo place, and I go to the counter, I say, I want a tattoo of my dog on my stomach. And I think the tattoo artist kind of laughed at me a little. But what he didn't know, the real reason I needed to get this tattoo was because of a girl. See, I was a junior, and there was this senior girl that would come into our engineering drawing class, and she would sit there playing on the computers. And I always wanted to talk to her. I just sat there and nothing would come out. So the first words I said to her were, "I'm getting a tattoo." And she was supposed to say, "Wow, that's really cool. You're an outlaw. You're really hardcore. I would love to go out with you." But that's not what she said. She kind of looked at me like, okay, all right, well, thanks for letting me know. Anyways, I need to get this tattoo because the only way I can talk to her again is I have to show up with this tattoo. And I know if I show up with it, she's obviously got to talk to me and I got to show her. So this is my in. I have to get this done. So the tattoo artist puts me down on the table in the chair, and I'm sitting there. And my mom and my dad are there because I'm a minor, and my parents have to be there. And every time that needle hit my rib, whoo, why was I doing this? Am I crazy? And my mom was sitting there looking at me going, you know, I gave you perfect skin, and you want to do this? And that placement right on your belly, you know, when you become 35, 40, and you start getting that beer belly, your little chihuahua is going to turn into a bulldog. I hope you're happy. No, they were very supportive, but that was their moment to get at me because I was helpless. I was laid out, being drilled on. So I get the tattoo. And the next Monday, I go into class, I see her, and I say, hey, look at this, I got a tattoo. And I felt like an astronaut that just returned from the moon. Like, I felt like I was the king. And again, her reaction was, oh, cool, that's really neat. Did it hurt? You know, still not falling in love yet, but it did get me to have a date. And I remember our first date. I picked her up in my Supra, and we went to Wendys. Now, the top was off. This was romantic. Wendys drive-thru, top off, sun shining. I am the man. Now, she orders across at me, talking to the speaker, and says, cheeseburger, extra pickle, frosty, fries, and a side of ranch. Okay, my mom said women were more complicated than men, but okay, I see. So to make up for it, I say, give me a number 3 with a Coke. No big deal. Anyways, we'd get the food, we'd drive back to her house, and this can be our first meal together, but it starts to sprinkle. So she runs in, takes the food, I drive back home, about 5 minutes away, to go get the top to the car. So I'm driving back, and it's starting to sprinkle, so I'm hustling. I go inside, in the garage, I grab the top, set it on the car, and instead of wasting 13 seconds to actually bolt it down, I say, forget it. I'm just going to drive slow. It'll be no big deal. So I'm driving back, and you take that right on Woodruff. You know, you're driving down Asbury, you take a right on Woodruff. Okay. Well, there's this little hump that if you hit it just right, you go airborne. And being 16, out of habit, I punch it, and I hit that, and all of a sudden, it's raining. I'm feeling the rain coming down on my head, and I look in the rear view mirror to see my top, boom, hit on the road behind me. So I slam on the brakes, spin it around, go get it, pick up my top, head home. Pull into the garage. My top has a crease right down the middle. So I sit it down, I hit it with a rubber mallet, hitting it with a little sledgehammer, trying to beat this out before my mom and my dad come home. But I never got it to fit right. Every single time from that day on, 8 years I owned this car after that, every time it rained, a little trickle of water would come down and hit me right on the front of my pants. Now, that was my punishment. But you know what else I lost? I never got to eat that cheeseburger, that number 3, still sitting on her table. See, sometimes when you get in such a rush, you need to learn to slow down, buckle down the hatches, and take a deep breath.